What is going on, YouTube? I am Germ here, as you guys can see up on the screen. Today, I want to talk a little bit about Sofi Technologies Incorporated. Once again, this is ticker symbol SOFI or Sofi. And part of the reason why we're talking about this one today is they had an insanely impressive day today. This stock has been trading under $10 for, I want to say, over a week at this point. Yeah, I mean, we've been kind of for the past month, maybe last 3 weeks, sitting under $10. Finally, we have broke above that level again, up 9.62% today. After hours, we're only down 0.2%, so relatively flat after hours, not really any movement going on there. And even better, yes, the stock market did very well today. Dow Jones up 0.97, S&P up 1.23, Nasdaq up 1.84, Russell up 0.265. Not only did SoFi outperform all of the major indices, they massively outperformed those major indices. Now, there were absolutely a ton of days over the past couple months, really all of 2022, where SoFi largely underperformed the market. They massively underperformed the market, but now that things are starting to turn around a little bit, I think it is a great sign that SoFi is outperforming a lot of these things and having some big days. Now, we're absolutely not out of the waters yet. You know, SoFi is at 10.14 right now, and hey, 52-week highs, we're looking at, what are we looking at? 24.95. So we still have a long ways to go back to all-time highs, back to 52-week highs, and back to, of course, growing even higher, getting even those people some returns on their money. But this is a great sign that the stock is up this big today. We're going to be going over the latest for SoFi stock and the company in this video today, so definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. And subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Of course, as always, there's going to be no financial advice in this video. I'm not telling you guys to buy, not telling you to sell, nothing like that. Just giving some of my thoughts and opinions on some stories. With that being said, let's get right into this. First up, I want to update on SoFi. Only down 35% year to date now. There was a little while where we were down 45% plus year to date. Slowly, some things are starting to turn around. But man, this does kind of put into perspective today, despite an almost 10% update. People go for 10% gains a year, and SoFi got 10% in a day. And the fact that we're still down 35% on the year is pretty crazy. But yeah, so that's kind of just trying to put things into perspective. What we have is what people are talking about SoFi today. Investor Place put out this article yesterday. Beware of SoFi Technologies, which I think is pretty interesting because there's just so many people on both sides. There's so many people downgrading SoFi, telling you to sell, telling you it sucks. So many people saying, hey, it's time to buy the dip. Hey, SoFi's cheap. Hey, SoFi's undervalued, overrated, oversold, all these things. So they do talk about how SoFi stock is down because of student loan worries, of course, but the SoFi team keeps telling us that, hey, no matter what happens with student loans, we're going to be okay. If they lift the moratorium, if they push it back, if they, forgive a bunch of student loans, they think they're going to be okay. So I think this is kind of a moot point. Again, if you trust the leadership, if you believe in the things that they're saying, they do talk about some of the risks. According to multiple valuation models, SoFi stock has a fair value of $7.75. Investors should consider betting on established firms whose stock price dips during the market correction. For instance, Visa is a safe bet. I don't know, this isn't really risks about SoFi. It's kind of weird, but they say traditional banking firms are inexpensive. Citigroup trades at a price to earnings in the middle single digits. Stock also pays a dividend. SoFi touts itself as a growth fintech. Instead of dividends, investors are betting on the company's operating profits to justify a higher stock price. Investors should consider building a core holding in these other companies. According to Stockrover, SoFi scores poorly on quality and value. It expects quarter one adjusted net revenue 280 to 285 million. The outlook includes a 30 to 35 million negative impact on revenue from the federal student loan payment moratorium. SoFi's weak growth score accounts for the delay. So overall, Investor Place is telling you to beware of SoFi Technologies, yet their main risks are just kind of weird. They're not really even saying much. I don't really even understand what they're getting at. Like, they're just saying that it's overvalued. They're saying, it rates poorly in value and stuff like that. Like, they're not really giving specific kind of examples of why you should be worried. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird. But then, of course, on the other side, you have the Motley Fool talking about three top tech stocks under $20 per share. And of course, they have SoFi on that list. Banking is a massive and old industry that goes back centuries. However, there's been a lot of innovation within the financial sector in recent years. Reimagining consumer banking is part of that, which is where SoFi comes in. And obviously, they're very hot on SoFi right now. They're excited about them. So you really have people on both sides. It's hard to get a grasp of where we're at right now. And I really do think we're at a big turning point for the stock. Is this thing going to break down? Is it going to go lower? Is it going to get caught up in the market and the, kind of the fear? Or are things going to get red hot? Is SoFi going to take off? Are we going to see $15, $20, $25 at some point over the next couple of years? And is this thing going to give some really good returns for a lot of people? I don't know, but it is going to be interesting to kind of watch and see. We have this from the SoFi stock subreddit, preparing for student loan repayment. It's time, and they give some articles and stuff. So Noto said the Biden administration has not yet confirmed another extension. As such, student loan borrowers should expect for payments to resume in May as originally planned. So hey, again, if the moratorium is lifted on May 1st, this is going to be best case scenario, at least at this point for SoFi. Obviously, best case scenario would have been them lifting it months and months and months and years or whatever ago. But again, at this point, better late than never. If they can get it lifted on May 1st, that'll be good for them. But again, as Noto and many other people have said, if it doesn't get lifted on May 1st, if it does get pushed back, if it does get delayed, SoFi is going to be fine. They're going to be okay. This money, the profit, the revenue, whatever, it's not make or break for SoFi at this point. So they're going to be okay. They also are telling people to enroll in income-driven repayment. IDR allows federal student loan borrowers to limit their monthly payments to 10 to 15% of their disposable income. After a repayment period of either 20 or 25 years, borrowers' remaining loan balance would be forgiven. Apply for additional federal deferment. Refinance your student loans at a lower rate. This is obviously where SoFi comes in. Student loan refinancing is when you borrow a new private loan with more favorable borrowing terms to repay your current student debt. A recent credible analysis found that borrowers who refinanced to a shorter-term student loan were able to save nearly $17,000 in interest charges over time. So obviously that'd be very, very good. And again, the more people are going to refinance, the more potential revenue SoFi is going to be bringing in. The sooner, the better. And the more people, the better. And the more dollars, the better. But obviously SoFi wants what's best for the people as well, because they need people to be in good financial situations for them to be interested in financial services like SoFi is going to be offering. So I know that Noto has said, he would like to see the government forgive like $10,000 of student loans for everyone, which of course would definitely help some people out and could be very, very positive overall. Some people talking about this, whether or not SoFi is going to outperform the S&P. Here is a graph. You can see dating back to April of 2021 that yes, S&P right now is significantly outperforming SoFi, and it's actually performing pretty well. SoFi has been very volatile. They are up and down. They are all over the place. And again, as of right now, they're kind of getting killed, but again, we see today, the S&P was up like 2%, 1.8%, whatever, and SoFi's up 10%. Now, if we get a couple of weeks, a couple of months of movements like this, SoFi can absolutely pass back up the S&P. Individual growth stocks, if they end up, hitting on a lot of things they're promising, a lot of things they're saying, they can definitely outperform the S&P. But the thing is, it's a lot more risk. It's higher risk, higher reward, so the S&P maybe over time is going to outperform more often. But if there is a great company, if it is undervalued, if it is something you believe in, and you're buying the dip even when it's hard, even when it's crashed down a ton, even when it's scary and there's a ton of fear and everything in the market, that's where you can potentially get those market-beating returns. But again, like I said, with SoFi, there's obviously a lot more risk. Look at how volatile this is. It's gone through periods of killing the S&P, and it's gone through periods of getting killed by the S&P as well. And finally, this guy talking about whether or not SoFi could go to $100 a share in a few years. Top comment is hilarious. He says, we're trying for $10 around here. And hey, we hit $10. So, hey, so far, so good. But this guy does say revenue of 2022 of $1.57 billion, price target of 16, 2023, $2.35 billion, price target of 22, 2024, $3.5 billion, price target of 30, 2025, he's looking at 40, 2026, 55, 2027, 65, 2028, 75, 2029, he's looking at a price target of 100, and in 2030, maybe potentially looking at a price target of 120. SoFi should be able to flip to positive earnings in 2022 or 2023. Again, if they become profitable, that's going to be a huge catalyst. SoFi should be able to do some share buybacks in a couple years as revenue growth slows. Profit margin will continue to increase over time. What do you think? I think something that absolutely has to be factored in is obviously stock-based compensation, that overall share dilution, those type of things that are going on. And then obviously if they're just not able to hit member growth, revenue growth, all of these different things, and when they're going to be able to hit profitability and how profitable they're going to be. But in the long term, obviously SoFi has crazy potential. I think everyone kind of understands that, but potential only gets you so far. At some point, you're actually going to have to act on some of that stuff. But that's pretty much everybody's video today, guys. Somebody drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about SOFI. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hope to catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.